This is MormonCast.org with Matt Worley.
Hello and welcome to another special episode of MormonCast. My name is Matt Worley and I'm your host. Today we are going to do an oil change. But first off, I need to thank Neil from back east. He was our first donation to come into the show. So thank you, Neil. And all of those of you who have been with us since the beginning and haven't donated, you should feel very guilty because he was relatively new. But anyway, so first off, we have the car. You're going to need a couple things if you plan to do an oil change. You're going to need an oil filter. We're not sponsored by Fram, but if they wanted to sponsor the show, I wouldn't say no to it. But you want to go get an oil filter. You can go to the auto parts store, you can go to Kmart, don't go to Walmart because they're the beast. They have a little book there that you can look through and find out which oil filter goes with your car. Makes it real simple. Then you're going to need some oil. I use 10W40. You can use whatever you think your car needs or whatever your dealer recommends. So yeah, the first real job, though, is to get the hood open. If you know how to do this in your car, great. It's the first step. If you don't, ask someone that does. So now, let's go take a look at the engine. Your engine may look very similar to this. If you drive a hybrid, well, you're lucky and it's not going to look like this. Here we have our dipstick where we check the oil level. You want to do that regularly. The oil filter right there. On all cars, the oil filter, like on any car, the oil filter can be anywhere. It can be up in the bottom, it can be around the backside. We're lucky on this car, the oil filter is right up front. And then back up here, we have the oil cap. So, before we start, we want to take off the oil cap. If you're planning on changing your own oil or someone else's oil, make sure they haven't driven the car for at least a couple hours because it gets really, really hot and you'll burn yourself like I did on the chocolate back in the chocolate episode. I just drove this to the auto parts store just to get the oil stuff that I needed and it's still pretty darn hot. So we're going to open that up, let it cool for a minute, and then we're going to go back down underneath where we unscrew the oil pan and drain it. Okay, so now the dirtier part of the job. We're going to go down underneath the car, unscrew the bolt off the oil pan, and drain it into this. You can get all sorts of different versions of these. Ones that will contain the oil, ones that are wide open. Always make sure you dispose of your oil properly. Don't pour it on your lawn, don't pour it down the sewer drain. Take it to waste management and have them handle it. So I'm going to show you a picture of what the oil pan under my car looks like. It may look different under yours. I'm going to go down there right now, unscrew it, and start draining the oil. So the oil's drained. I put the bolt back in. You want to kind of hand tighten it. Don't make it too tight because next time you try and change your oil, you'll be really unhappy that you made it too tight. Also try not to get any oil on your driveway. Another thing, it helps to make sure you kind of know which is your oil pan under your car because you don't want to, for some weird, freaky, accidental reason, drain your transmission fluid. That would be bad. If the fluid comes out red, you're draining transmission fluid. And that's a whole other story and you need to replace that. So now we're going to go back up to the top of the car. We're going to take the oil filter off, put a new one on, and start filling it up, and we're almost done. Okay, so we're going to take out the oil filter next. Look out, because that thing right there says that this is really freaking hot. So I'm going to wrap my hand up and just unscrew the oil filter. Another thing, be careful when you're unscrewing the oil filter because it may just have oil still in it, so it's bound to leak a little bit. So there it is. Now we're gonna get the new one ready. Okay, so we have our new oil filter. Something you want to do before you attach this to your car. Open up a bottle of oil, one of the ones you're going to use. Get a little oil on your finger and just go right around the seal. This helps make sure the seal seals onto the right part of the car and keeps you from getting oil leaks and other really nasty things. So, here we go. Hot. You want to hand tighten the oil filter, so it's easier to take off the next time you do an oil change. Kind of like the same thing with down under there. Hand tighten, and yeah, that's all you need. So now we fill it up. Okay, so most cars take, 3.5 to 4 quarts. Most cars. Check your owner's manual before you do anything big. But I got one of these handy things. This makes it easier to fill so I don't spill oil all over the inside of my engine, because that's really gnarly. Changing your oil in your car is very important. It's something you need to do at least every 3,000 miles. That's what the oil company tells us. Some you might be able to pull 4,000, but I don't recommend it. I try and change the oil in my cars every 3,000 miles. It's better for your engine, your car will last longer, your dad won't give you any crap because you're taking care of the car. So try and do it every 3,000 miles or every 3 months. So all of this took a matter of minutes, about 15 minutes to do your own oil change. The lesson behind this is, in the church we're taught to be self-sufficient as possible. Something that's always handy to know is, how to take care of your car, how to do oil changes. Save yourself $20. You can do this for the cost of a filter and 3 bottles of oil, which is less than $20, less than what you'd pay at like Jiffy Lube. So get your kids out, get your parents out, teenagers, do it yourself. I mean, this is one of the simplest things you can do. You can save a few bucks and get to know your car a little bit better. So yeah, thank you for joining me on another episode of MormonCast, and thank you for all the emails. Thank you for all the support, those who are writing in more questions for Ask a Mormon, and yeah, keep them coming. Please feel free to donate. Shoot me an email at worley.matt@gmail.com. Visit the website MormonCast.org, and most of all, tell your friends. We'd like to see this thing grow. And also, something else that just came up, we'll be doing a movie review shortly on a movie called Jonah, made by the same guys that made God's Army, or at least produced or distributed by them. They're going to be sending me a copy, which is very great. Thank you guys for sending me a video. You're the first production company that's actually supporting the cast and doing such a thing. You're an example to everyone else. And I think that's about it. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week, because I'm doing my darndest to make these every week.